What's up, guys? Matt here, coming at you with another quick video. This one taking a quick look at this brand new 1/10 Mashigan from RocHobby FMS. This thing, I got mixed feelings about this one. So I really liked the look of it. I really liked how it drove, but I had some issues. So we're going to get to that. First off, I started out, I took the top off. It's a couple screws, whatever, take them out. This thing comes off. Not bad, but not something you're going to want to like be taking off and putting on often, because it does require you to like get up under the body with a screwdriver and stuff. Mounted up the seats in here. The scale detail on this thing is amazing. You can see beautiful interior. Comes with the stickers for in the gauges and everything. I got a couple of them on there. Got tired of messing with the rest. The seats, nice rubber cover on the seats, so that's really nice. This does have a servo that turns the steering wheel as you're turning the truck, so a lot of the things we're used to kind of seeing from FMS on like their 6-scale stuff. So I was very excited about this. All of the doors open, hood opens, rear door did open, and everything's, you know, it's really cool. It looks great, and all of those things are nice. The windshield also folds down. I put a couple screws in here to hold the roll cage on once I pulled the roof off, because this was just loose. So I just put those screws that came out of here in that. And so now my windshield doesn't move, but the roll cage is fastened. The only issue I really had was the doors and the hood. Like, I feel like we need something like the FCX10 has, where you can put a pin in this to keep them closed, because they were constantly flying open. This hood does not even latch at all anymore. So the entire time I was running, it was just flopping around everywhere. And you may be able to tell, I broke the back gate completely off. So I wouldn't advise mounting your spare tire, because the first time that flies open, snap. Broke the hinge completely off, so that is now gone. But I was pretty hard on this thing. Let's get to the running and I'll talk more about it. So this thing is all metal gears, but it was bone dry inside the diff when I checked it. I would definitely check it before running. I didn't, but I definitely should have. So you can see outside in the sun, man, this thing is beautiful. Look at the color on that. Look at the detail. Everything about it, it just looks really good. Really excited about, you know, all of these small details that add up to the appearance of this thing. The mirrors fold in, so no worries of breaking those off. That's something I normally snap right off the first run on any kind of scale-looking vehicle. You can see the hood prop there to hold the hood up. All the doors open, like I said. Beautiful truck. Top comes off. You can leave the top on, however you prefer to run it. The door on the top also opens up. On the back there you can see. And man, overall just a beautiful looking rig. Rear view mirror. The interior looks great. Electronics stuffed up under the hood there where you put your battery and everything. Nice and easy to get to. Just had a little bit of issue with the latching system on, really the hood was the biggest problem. The back door would not stay closed at all for me. Once I put the spare tire on it, it just wouldn't stay closed. The added weight from that tire just seemed like it made it to where it wouldn't click in place. The hood, when I first started out, it latched. I could hear it click, and then it just wouldn't hold. And over time, with it flopping up and down, and I would shut it. 2 seconds later, it was open. I'd shut it. 2 seconds later, it was open. That just wore out throughout the day, and it would not stay closed at all. So probably going to need some magnets to help, or some Velcro or something under there to help that mounting system. But you can see you got the headlights in this thing. Beautiful looking ride. So much fun to drive. It drives really well. It's got pretty good power. I'm running on 3S, sliding around here, having some fun on the ice, kind of starting off, getting the feel for it, and really had a lot of fun with this truck.
So you can see I took this thing into some pretty tough terrain. You know, I didn't just trail along with it and go easy on it. I was pretty hard on this thing, and I did that. You know, I always try to be hard on stuff when I get it to test it, because I want to know its weaknesses so I can, you know, relay that to you guys. And this thing crawled really well. I loved how it handled. It drove good. These tires, I didn't really get them wet. As you can see, the water was froze, but they did really good on the rock. For a stock tire, they do really well. You'll see coming up here, that door on the back, I was already like having problems with it. I would shut it, it would just come open, and right there it just took a hit and it was gone. And so I would not mount the spare tire on the back. I feel like that rear door would be fine without the spare tire on there. That added weight of that tire, it just wouldn't stay closed for me. And you can see there, when it took the right hit, it was gone quick. You can see the hood is always open during all of my running, but quick look here, it just snapped that completely off. Both doors are coming open on me. That is just completely gone now, which stinks because it looked really good on there, but it is what it is. You know, I'll make do without it, just shaving weight, I guess, you know. But anyways, I shut the doors, take off, and had a lot of fun with the thing. This truck comes in at $329. It has full ball bearings. It's got a steel C-channel frame, 4-link suspension, pretty dang smooth ESC. It's the WP1040 ESC. It's a waterproof ESC. The motor is a 35-turn 550 motor, so the slow crawl was really good with it. It felt really good. Felt like it had decent wheel speed. It just, it's a little bit loud. You'll notice the servo. You hear the servo and the ESC whine a little bit, but it wasn't anything that was too bad that I just couldn't handle. Overall, did pretty well. They do have a leaf spring suspension that you're going to be able to get for this as well. I think that will be sold separately, so if you really wanted to make it super scale, you could do that. It has the XT60 connectors on it, so that was good. That's what I use on most of my crawlers, and so I was able to just slap one of my 3S straight in there. You can see right here, like, I did not go easy on this thing. When I got hung in a tight spot, I just let it rip, you know. Like, I wanted to see what would break, and you know, I probably shouldn't have been quite as hard on it as I was, but that's how I test things, you know. And you can see right here, I mean, it's in a pretty bad spot, and I just keep on rolling with it. And it took quite a bit of abuse. I did have some breakage. A little later I'll show you, but I had a lot of fun with this thing driving through this rough terrain, and then I really had some fun when I got over on some hill climbs with it. And I feel like that is where, you know, it does really well. Just more trailing. It can crawl, as you can see here. It can crawl through some pretty rough stuff and take a beating. The approach angle is like 68 degrees and the departure is like 47. So it's got some pretty good abilities to it. And you can see here, this is some very rough terrain. And other than the hood flopping around everywhere and the doors coming open on me, it did very well in this stuff. So it can definitely crawl, and it looks really, really good. I just wish I had some better ways to kind of keep the doors and stuff closed. So I'll probably put some magnets or Velcro or something on the doors, and definitely the hood. I've got to do something with it. It won't stay closed at all now, but I kind of just gave up on trying to close those, as you can see, and I just ran it, because as soon as I would close them, the next bump I hit, they were open. But the thing does look really good. It's just got a jacked up hood right here. That front bumper running all the way across the thing, I did hit it quite a bit.
but it's easily avoidable if you hit things at the right angle. Here I am again, really hung up and just cramming on it. Had no issues with drive shafts, axles, anything like that breaking. They're all pretty nice and thick and held up very well. So with this truck coming in at $329, I can deal with some issues with the latching system on the hood and doors. You know, that's an easy fix. You're a good $200, $220 away from the price of what I paid for that 10.3 Bronco. And, you know, with that money, you can easily go put a Furitek system in here, which I did to that. You can change wheels and tires. You can do a lot of upgrades, swap the servo, whatever, and still be at or below the price of that truck stock. So there's some room for upgrades if you want to do it. One thing is I would probably recommend an aluminum servo horn. I did break the servo horn completely off on this truck, and you'll see a little bit later. But it did take a pretty good beating all day, and I can handle that. You know, 15, 20 bucks. I'll put an aluminum one on there. I have probably 5 of them sitting around the house. So that's not a big deal. And like I said, I'm still way under the amount I paid for the Bronco out of the gate. And to me, the interior in this looks much better. The seats in that thing are plastic. They're not very deep. They just, you know, that's the only thing I don't really like about that interior in that truck. I was really excited about that interior. It does have that like glossy, shiny look to everything as well. So overall, the interior of this just looks better. And I think that the scale look of it is a little better. And so that's something they did really well. I didn't have any trouble with drive shafts or axles or anything. They're all super beefy looking, so I think the drivetrain on this is going to be fine. I'll keep running it and see how it does, you know, see if I find any other issues. But had a lot of fun with these little hill climbs. I spent some decent amount of time at this little area right here, just going up and down these hills. It was a lot of fun. And the truck did really well. So a lot of times a truck like this with a hard body and nice scale appearances will seem kind of tipsy. You know, even spots like this right here, they'll want to tip back. This thing felt like I had already kind of added some weight down low, like it was pretty well balanced. So that's always a plus coming straight out of the box, that it felt as good as it did. And the wheels on this are bead locked. So if you wanted to pull those apart and add some wheel weights or something cheap, inexpensive inside the tires and wheels, you could definitely do that to help it out if you wanted to get a little more balance. But overall, it ran pretty dang good stock in my opinion. So the turning radius on this truck isn't bad, but it's not anything I would really brag about either. But it did just fine. I turned the dual rate up just a little bit, and it turned pretty well. This line here, I was getting very close to pulling this, and this would have been a pretty impressive line for a stock truck. But I ran into the issue of breaking the servo horn here. I kind of put that on the cold temperatures, just kind of being hard on plastic parts. So I was, like I said, I took a couple rolls here, a couple hits, but I think that thing may have been weakened already from some of the rough stuff I'd put it through. And I noticed all of a sudden I didn't have any steering, and looked down and that thing was broke. But everything else held up well. And, you know, sometimes when I get a test truck that something breaks on it first time out, I'm kind of like, you know, what's up with this? But I kind of got to give the benefit of the doubt with this one a little bit with the cold weather. And, you know, I was pretty hard on this truck. So not a big surprise that something plastic would break in these temperatures and under these circumstances. So not a huge deal, but it did kind of put it into my day. I will get that changed out and hopefully get some more run time with it soon. So taking a quick look at the underneath of this thing, you can see pretty beefy drive shafts, very well built. The links are nice and beefy as well. Didn't have any trouble with the rod ends, even in the freezing temperature. Suspension is pretty smooth. Oil-filled shocks, I did have a little leakage. That's basically any RTR I get with oil-filled shocks, there's some leakage right out of the box. Just seems like that's always an issue. You can see the servo horn there did break, but like I said, it was very cold conditions and I was very hard on it, so I can kind of understand that. But you can see the drive shafts and axles and everything all seem to be pretty beefy, so hopefully the drivetrain on this thing will be just fine. It comes in this really nice case that has a nice sturdy handle on the top that folds flat. You can see there, very nice case to pack this thing in. 3 little buttons here that you push to open, and the truck fits in there nice. It will fit very well with the top as well. Don't think it fits with the tire mount on the rear, but I'm not going to run the tire on the rear, obviously, now anyways. And then the controller stores away in the bottom, and it's a very nice 2.4 gigahertz radio with 3-position switch, channel 3 there, and then a channel 4 button, room to, you know, add some accessories. And then you have all of your throttle trim, steering trim, dual rates, and throttle and steering reverses and everything. A very nice feel to this thing. Plastic wheel, but other than that, really good feel. So you guys let me know what you think about this truck. I'm very excited about it. I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe. Peace.